Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. First off, welcome everyone to our pre-trip seminar for our group departing on January 18th and inshallah returning back on the 26th. Today we are covering a couple of topics, and just a reminder, the meeting is recorded and it will be available for everyone to rewatch, or maybe if you missed something, or some of the people they may be joining in a bit late. So we want to make sure everyone is able to uh, basically rewatch any of the information. We will also be sharing the slides as well too in the group. So if you need to refer to those, you are more than welcome to refer to those as well too at a later time, inshallah. Just bear with me 1 second as we get started. So for today, we are covering a few topics. We will do a quick introduction to our group leaders. We will also talk about our daily schedule in detail, so you know exactly what to expect on what day. Some of the things are tentative. We do change the timings according to the needs of the group, but we will inform you in advance if some of those things change, because things, sometimes the group is tired, things do happen, some of the timings do change. So just bear those things in mind, and inshallah we will be going over Nuzuk and what's available in there. And there are alhamdulillah some new updates. There are actually some pretty good updates for Nuzuk. We haven't experimented with it as the news just came out recently. So we're hoping inshallah everyone is able to take advantage of those few things. And then, inshallah, we have our last portion, which is some of the advices we have for the trip, and checklist for you so you can prepare yourself. Especially, there is about a week. So today's Friday, and everyone will be traveling on the 18th on the Saturday. So you can start preparing for a lot of those things from the checklist, inshallah. And at the end, we will have our Q&A. If you have any questions during the seminar, you can also leave it in the Q&A section, or you can also leave it in the comments as well too. So, this way we can cover those first before we start taking any other questions, inshallah. So without any further ado, let's get started with our group leader introductions. And if we can have Mufti Qarib Rahman, please join us to give a quick introduction.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your journey smooth, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring you here to Mecca and Medina, to these holy places where I'm residing nowadays. Basically, I served as an imam in Manasik Muslim Association, Virginia. I was imam for almost 8 years. And now still I'm teaching as a senior instructor at MID, which means Maryland Institute of Development. And but that is online, so I'm doing from here because nowadays I'm residing in Saudi. And I've been leading Umrah groups for Ain al-Haramain. Inshallah, when you come here, you will see me at the airport receiving you, and then inshallah to say goodbye to you in the end of your Umrah trip. Inshallah, for the whole time, I will be with you. So any question during that time, even before that, if you need any guidance, so feel free to reach me out. Jazakumullah khairah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair, Mufti Qarib Rahman. So, inshallah, he will be with the group for the entire duration of the trip. And he has been a very key part of our team to provide knowledge and information. And you will see during the daily schedule on a lot of the things that he will be covering, inshallah. So we're going to start covering the daily schedule now. So on January 18th, 4 hours before the flight at 7 a.m., we will have a meet and greet at JFK Airport, Terminal 1. Saudi Airline has been using counter B for at least the last couple of months. We are expecting it to be the same. So as soon as you arrive at the airport, it is basically the second counter. So the first one I think they're using for Air France, and then the second counter is for Saudi Airline. That's where you will be meeting with our team in JFK Airport. And it's very important to understand that there is construction going on at JFK Airport. So give yourself enough time, and traveling is pretty heavy these days. So regardless, we do want everyone to show up on time at the airport. So if there's any issues, anything like that, we are there to resolve those things, and you're not missing the flight. The counters do close an hour before, but you don't want to risk it at that last moment. So come meet with our team, collect your luggage tag, so everything is tagged up, and you have it's a small luggage tag which has the company logo on it for Ainul Haramain. So we are able to identify your luggages if anything, like things do happen. And like luggages, sometimes the airline misplaces, anything can happen, so it's easier for me and my team to actually locate those things. So it's important to have these things done in advance. So you will be meeting with our team. They will give you the luggage tags. You go check in, and you basically, right after the check-in, they will give you a small Umrah kit, which includes like an Ainul Haramain bag. It's a little pouch that you can use for your documents. It has a prayer mat in there. So all useful things during the trip. So you collect those, and then you go ahead and you go through security. Boarding usually does start at 10 a.m. And at 11 a.m. the flight takes off. So you are taking the flight number SV22, JFK to Riyadh, and then you have a connecting flight from Riyadh to Medina Airport. So a couple of things to keep in mind. There are some prayers you will catch on the flight. So you will have your Zohar and Asr prayer, Maghrib, Isha, and you will be landing after Fajr. So you will be catching 5 prayers during the flight. Some of the things that I like to mention, because we are embarking on a religious journey, and we want to make sure, we are making the intention of not just to purify ourselves spiritually, but to actually be of convenient to other people too. So on a flight, you're talking about at least minimum 250 people. There is a prayer room to go and pray. Please be considerate to others when you go pray on the flight, and quickly pray and give space to others. Many of the times I've seen it where people, they may just go into the prayer room, and you have about 15, 20 people just waiting outside. And during prayer, you do shorten the prayers for Zohar, Asr, and Isha. So you don't pray the complete prayers. It is you shortened it to 2 rakats. And if you're comfortable combining them, you can also combine them as well too. So do your prayers, give space to the next set of people. And usually, it's like men are praying together, and then you have a group of women praying together. So just be considerate to others who are actually waiting over there. If there's no line, do what you have to do. You want to sit there, do zikr, make your dua. If nobody's waiting, it's okay. But if people are waiting, please try to give them the space. You can do your zikr and your duas on your seat as well too, inshallah. Moving ahead to on our schedule. So on January 19th, you will be arriving at Riyadh Airport at 7 a.m. You will go ahead and proceed to your immigration counters, complete the immigration, and then you can make your way to the domestic flight. There are Saudi Airline and other employees at the airport who will guide you how to get to the domestic terminal. You do not need to collect your luggages for this. You will get your luggages on your final destination in Medina Airport. The boarding, it is a separate terminal for the domestic flight, and the shuttle takes approximately 20 minutes. So do keep those things in mind. It takes approximately hour and a half to 2 hours to clear everything and actually reach the domestic terminal. Boarding does start at 12:50. Alhamdulillah, excuse me. Boarding does start approximately around 12:15 p.m. and the flight departs at 12:55 p.m. So when you're in Saudi, they will not give you the gate number because you normally get your boarding passes at JFK. So once you cross the domestic security, you can go ahead and check on the screen, and they will tell you your exact gate where you need to go. Then you have your flight from Riyadh to Medina. You will be arriving in Medina Airport, inshallah, at 2:45 p.m. I will also be in Medina Airport with Mufti Qarib Rahman, inshallah, ready to welcome everyone in Medina, because we do have a Hajj conference that's coming up. We will be in Saudi for that, but inshallah, we will both be there to welcome everyone at Medina Airport, inshallah. We're expecting about approximately about a hour or so to actually depart from the airport around 3:45. The route from Medina Airport to our hotel is approximately half an hour to 35 minutes. If there's no traffic, it takes a little bit less, but if the traffic is heavy, it does take longer too at times. Please ignore that stop at Quba. We did have some flights that were arriving really early. We will see how the timing is going, and we'll see if we can do a stop at Quba if it's possible on this day. But we will go ahead and settle everyone into the hotel. And after Isha prayer, approximately 9 p.m., we will all meet in the lobby, and we will go for our walking tour in order to give you some knowledge about Masjid Nabawi and to prepare you for the remaining days. You know, you want to know, where do the women enter in for prayer? Where do the men enter in for prayer? Where do you have to go for getting on the line for Riyaz al Jannah? Where do you go in for the salam for the men? How do you go into Jannatul Baqi? You know, all these things. You know, you want to know these things in advance in order to make your trip go smoother, and you're prepared to do what you need to do. It's one thing hearing about everything in advance, and it's one thing actually physically visiting and seeing it right there and then in order to prepare yourself, inshallah. So on the following day, on the 20th, we do have a lecture by Mufti Qarib Rahman, inshallah. He will be covering locations for the historical tours. And a lot of these activities, you know, all of them are optional, but I do highly recommend everyone to join. This will be a great opportunity for you to learn more about the locations that we will visit a night before. So the historical tours is the following day, but in these lectures you will get to learn a bit more, and maybe, you know, some questions may pop up which you can also start asking during the historical tours as well. So on the 21st, we do have breakfast, by the way, throughout the trip. So after Fajr prayer, go straight to breakfast. You will have approximately 45 minutes to get done with your breakfast and meet in the lobby approximately at 7:15 a.m. And then we will be leaving for our historical tours. Some of the places that we visit in Medina are Masjid Quba, Qiblatain, Sabah Masajid, and Uhud site, which is also the Shuhada site for from the Battle of Uhud. We will be back before Zohar prayer, inshallah. And then on this day, you have another lecture, especially if this is your first Umrah. And if even if it's not your first Umrah, you know, there's always questions that everyone has, maybe, you know, like you want to ask. So please do try to attend this lecture by Mufti Qarib Rahman, inshallah. He will be covering the details of Umrah and answering all your questions, inshallah. And then on the 22nd of January, this is when we are moving from Medina and going to Mecca. So this is a little bit of a busy day because we're not just departing on this day, we are also performing our Umrah on the same day as well too. So it's a basic schedule. Some of these timings they do change. We will give you reminders on a daily basis. That's why we have that WhatsApp group. So at 8 a.m. inshallah, you will be leaving your luggages right outside your room. The bellboys they come and they collect them. And please don't worry if your luggages are not collected right there and then when you leave it outside. The bellboys we give them usually half an hour late. So if we're giving you 8. We usually give the bellboys 8:30 a.m. to start picking up the luggage, just in case, you know, someone has some last minute packing to do, and they can put those things and keep it outside. And it takes them approximately 45 minutes to an hour to collect all the luggages for the group. They bring them all down. They keep a record of everything everything, and they keep them all in one place. And we do this so we have the luggages available and we can start getting them loaded on the bus before anyone even arrives in the lobby, or whenever the bus arrives. It's usually half an hour before departure time. So approximately 10:45 a.m., we want everyone to come to the lobby. Please wear your ihram. For the women, it's your regular clothes. And of course, you can ask these questions from Mufti Qaribur Rahman as well. And please, for the men, the two pieces of white cloth, please wear your ihram and come to the lobby. So it's easier for us, and it saves us about 45 minutes during our travels from Medina to Mecca, because at Miqat, even if one person doesn't have their ihram on and they need to change their clothes, it's minimum half an hour to 45-minute delay that we get. And leaving at 11 a.m. becomes useless for us. So it's very important that everyone has their ihram on. And there are some stops during our trip to Mecca. So we will stop to pray our 2 rakats and make our intention for Umrah at Miqat. We will be departing from Miqat before Zohar prayer. Then you have your next stop at Sasko, where we stop for prayer and food. So they have a couple of options over there which you can choose for food. And then you will arrive in Makkah. And inshallah, we will get you cleared up, checked into the hotel. And we like to do Umrah a little bit later, even though we can perform it. You will have a couple of hours in the middle. But it's better. The rush starts, the things start easing up basically a little bit later on in the day. And inshallah, like 10 p.m. will be the group timing when the group will perform Umrah together, inshallah. Moving on to the 23rd, we usually like to keep a relaxing, a rest day in the middle right after Umrah. But the schedule is a little bit tight, and we want to make sure you're able to utilize all your days, because the 24th is Friday, and we don't want to disturb the schedule for the Friday prayer. So inshallah, you will have that time to rest. So try to do breakfast, get some rest before Zohar prayer. Right after Zohar prayer, inshallah, we will be leaving for our historical tours. Some of the places that we will be visiting in the Makkah historical tours are Jabal Umar, Jabal Sur, and the hut sites. So the hut sites is very detailed. It's not just the hut sites. There's many things that are there other than Mina, Arfat, and Muzdalfa. There are quite a few locations that will be covered in there. And inshallah, if you have the energy, you can do another Umrah on this day. I don't recommend to perform any additional Umrahs if you're not feeling well. Please recover before you start doing any additional Umrahs. On the 24th, you have your Friday prayer. So if you're trying to pray inside Haram, you do need to leave well in advance. Our hotels are located right next to the Haram. If you're trying to just go catch Jummah prayer, you can always just come down and join Jummah prayer. But if you're trying to go inside like the masjid, you want to make sure you're leaving even as early as sometimes like 9 a.m. Sometimes they start closing the gates. People are actually staying right after Fajr in order to catch their Jummah inside. Sometimes they do have restrictions where they're only letting people in with ihram on. So keep those things in mind. And inshallah, of course, if you have the energy, this is also a very good day to perform another Umrah. So on the 25th, we will be leaving our luggages outside the room approximately 9:30 a.m. And then inshallah, everyone can go catch Zohar in Haram, and approximately 1:30 p.m. We will all meet in the lobby ready to depart for Jeddah. We do have a day stay in Jeddah, and inshallah, we also have a Jeddah tour, which is completely optional. If you want to just rest and join us to just go to the airport, it's completely up to you, but we will have a small Jeddah tour as well too. And then approximately 10:30 p.m. we will be departing for the airport, and we're going to be about like 20 minutes out from the airport, so arriving around 11 p.m. And by 11:15, everyone will be checking in, inshallah, for their New York flight. We do take care of the Zamzam for you, so inshallah, when you arrive at the airport, we will be taking care of the Zamzam and assisting you during the whole process. So once you're done checking in, I'm predicting approximately about 12:30 a.m. Everyone should be done, inshallah, checking in. You can go ahead and start proceeding towards immigration. You do have to do exit immigration. And then there's a security point. And then the Jeddah airport is huge. So you do need to take this They have like this train inside the terminal which you take to get you closer to the gates. And they're usually using gate 50, which is on like one corner of the airport. It is a pretty long walk inside. That's where the JFK flights are usually leaving, and they do have a additional security for the JFK flights. So this is one of the reasons why it's so important to have a bit extra time when you are at Jeddah airport. It's not just these long distances; it's also that additional security. The flight is at 3:25 a.m. SV 21 Jeddah to JFK, and inshallah you will be arriving at Terminal 1 JFK at approximately about 9 a.m. Zamzam is one of those things that usually delays you at JFK Airport. You may get all your luggages, but the Zamzams are usually the last thing that come out. For pickup, if anyone is picking you up from airport, if you want to inform friends and family, what time to come, I would suggest to say about 10:30 a.m. Because of the construction, they are usually moving the cars very quickly. It does get crowded, so there's no point of coming early and trying to stand by the terminal. It's better to maybe park the car. They have a few areas at JFK Airport. If they come early, be in communication with them so they can come and pick you up, because if they have some of those routes closed, it takes 20 minutes to 25 minutes just to make a round to come back to the terminal. And Once you're at immigration, when you arrive in New York, please do claim the Zamzam water. If they ask you if you have anything to claim, let them know you have Zamzam water. If you end up purchasing any dates, also inform them that you have dates as well. I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next set of topics on Nuzuk. So there are some technology needs that come along with Nuzuk. So you do need a smart device, you do need a data connection, and individual devices are needed for each person, including children. So they unfortunately they don't have any companion accounts. Also on your device, pretty much everyone has a smartphone these days. So you make sure you have access to the email that you're going to be using to activate your Nuzuk. Just keep those things in mind, because you do receive a one-time password each time you log in. Usually, like I've been logged in for the last year, I haven't been logged out, but it does happen where maybe the app update is in, and you need to go ahead and log in again. So make sure you have access to that email. This is very important. So for the permit timings, I'm reminding everyone again, these slides will be available to you separately. And this video will also be available to you with all the information we're covering. You don't need to take any notes right now. This is just to cover the information in case you have any questions. So for the Roda permits for Riyaz Al Jannah, try to avoid the tour timings on January 21st. This is in the early morning hours, so this is like after Fajr till Zohar basically, so 6 a.m. till 11 a.m. If you're taking permits on this day, please try to take something after 12. It's best. And take the timings within the time slots that you can take permits. I would suggest is to go from the 19th 7 p.m. Going all the way till January 22nd in the morning 8 a.m. My advice will be to avoid the evening hours for even the 19th. You're just going to arrive. We have a walking tour to get you prepared, but it's a tough day to actually go and make it for the Roda, for Riyaz Al Jannah, and try not to keep it for the morning of departure, because that's what usually causes the delays. Try to get it done before Fajr if that's the permit timings that are available for you, because right after Fajr we want to make sure you can pack up, leave your luggages, and then start preparing for your Umrah, and wear your ihram and meet with us, so we can depart in a timely fashion and arrive to Makkah. It does make a huge difference. So the timing that we leave approximately at 11 a.m., it saves us almost 3 hours. So if you leave after Zohar, our travel time gets an addition of 3 hours because everyone is leaving at that time. So if we get delayed even by 15 minutes, we're going to touch at least hour and a half of those delays. So it's very important that, especially on this departure, we leave on a very timely fashion, keep the group together. Leaving from Miqat, we keep everyone together. We quickly leave from there. So we arrive at a better time to Makkah. We try to aim for about approximately 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. But even with a slight delay of 15 minutes, you're talking about maybe 7, 8 p.m. So it's very important that you don't keep this morning for your Rosa Riyadul Jannah permits. Just try your best to try to get it before, so there's no disturbance in our schedule. For our Umrah time slot, it will be January 22nd, 2200, which is 10 p.m. This will be our time slot for Umrah, inshallah. For the permit rules, as I was mentioning in the beginning of the meeting, there is some good news. I hope I'm able to test this out and this is working as intended. So for the regular rolled up permits with you book in advance, this is the wait period after you use one permit. You have to wait 365 days between each permit. And the good news is that now they have the Roda instant track, which is for repeat permits, or maybe there are no permits available in the regular one, so you actually try to get a permit. So the system refreshes every 20 minutes. But they do have some requirements. You do need to be near Masjid Nawawi, like located around it. We are staying right next to it, so I'm not sure whether you have to be within the boundaries of Haram for it to work, or whether you just have to be like very close to it. So it's possible it may work from the airport, from the hotel, or it's also possible that you may need to step into Masjid Nawawi in order for the system to work. I have not tested it. I have not visited Saudi since this new system came out. But I will be arriving in Medina earlier, so I will try my best to test this out so we can let you know what's going on. And it is a fairly simple system. You just go, it refreshes every 20 minutes, and you can book one of these instant slots. So if you have anyone in the group that has actually went on a Umrah tour recently, or maybe within the last 365 days, and you're not able to obtain a Roda permit, this is amazing news. And for anyone that is trying to go more than once, this is also very great, where you can go visit the Roda possibly on a daily basis. And just to give everyone a reference about the timing, so you don't need to constantly just sit there and checking. So for the women, it's after Isha going all the way till midnight. For the men, it's from midnight going all the way till Fajr. And then after Fajr till Zohar is women again, and then from Zohar till Isha, it's men timing. So this way there is no confusion. There are different timings for men and women, and when your Nuzuk account is activated, it's going to be activated according to a female account or a male account, depending on the gender. For the Umrah, by the way, once the permit expires, you can take out additional permits, but no one is really checking. Like 99% of the time, I have not shown my permit in the last like 2 to 3 years. Maybe just once I pulled out my phone, they were asking for the permits, and this was in Ramadan, and there was very heavy traffic going into Haram. That's one of the reasons why they were asking. Other than that, usually it's a fairly simple process. As long as the men are in Ihram, they let them in. For the women, they don't know the regular clothing or ihram, so they just let the women in anyways. I don't want anyone to stress on the Umrah permits. It's good if you have it. If you're not able to obtain it, it's okay too. And if you're not able to obtain the 10 p.m. time slot, the 2200, then just take anything, the first available slot, either before or after that timing. So for the Roda permit, there is a particular time when it opens up, and I'm talking about the advanced permits, not the instant ones. So they do open up every Friday, Eastern time, so New York time, 7 a.m. For the following Sunday till the Saturday. So they open up for a week every week on Friday at 7 a.m. For our group, the permits will open up a day before travel. So inshallah, for the Roda permits, they will open up on January 17th, approximately 7 a.m. inshallah. So we will give a reminder to a day before. And I know quite a few people have not received their visas yet. Inshallah, they will be sent out to you over the weekend. And if anyone has not traveled for Umrah after the pandemic, we do want to make sure we're working with you individually in order to assist you to activate Nuzuk as well too, because all these permits are through Nuzuk. Once you have it activated, the account is permanent. Next time you go for Umrah, they are usable. So for our last portion, we will go over some advice for the trip and some checklists. Bear with me 1 second. So for travel documents and communications, of course, you do need to carry your passport. For some of our guests that are traveling with us in this group, you may actually use a green card or any other documents. Please keep those with you if you have a need for those. Normally, on a U.S. passport, all you need is the U.S. passport. But if you have, a different passport, just make sure you're carrying your documents for re-entry, whether it be a green card, whatever it may be. Please make sure you have that document with you, so you have no issues on the return flight going. They don't bother you. They're just worried about, like just looking at your passport and your visa, and that's about it. We also advise, once you receive the visas, please print them out, and also keep a digital copy on your phone. Usually they don't even ask for it, but just in case, it's always a good idea to have it with you. And it's very important because we are communicating with the group through the WhatsApp group that we have for this tour, where we will be giving you reminders. We will be sharing many of the things with you. If there is let's say we're leaving, and there's maybe like a 10-minute delay, we don't want you to come and sit in the lobby. We would rather have you be in the room. So these type of things, we want to make sure we're instantly communicating with you. That's why it's important, even maybe you just have one family member join into the group. We highly advise that you have every family member actually join into the group, just in case one person misses the notification. The other person can actually get the notification, and things can run more on track, inshallah. For your health checklist, please make sure you have your daily medication for the entire duration of the trip. And we do recommend a light jacket for Medina. This trip around, even Makkah got a bit chilly too, so please try to keep like a hoodie or something like that with you. It will also come in handy when you come back to JFK. Also carry some Tylenol and some cough drops. Anyone visiting Mecca and Medina, the crowds are huge, and the sudden weather change. Usually, you start getting a light cough, so it's always a good idea to carry some cough drops as well. So, for the bank, and like you do want to communicate with your bank and your cell phone carrier, so please do communicate. If you plan to use any credit cards over there or debit cards, please make sure to call your bank and find out whether you have any foreign transaction fees or not. Credit cards are recommended. Visa and MasterCard are accepted in most places. Some places have started to accept Amex, but usually most of the places they do accept Visa and MasterCard. But there are quite a few places that will only take cash as well too. So keep that in mind as well. For your data needs, please call your cell phone carrier as well too. Find out whether they have some sort of basic package for roaming included, or whether you need to purchase a international roaming package. Usually, a low speed data connection is enough to work Nuzuk and to make WhatsApp calls and to receive all those notifications. If you are planning to get a SIM card in Saudi, make sure you are carrying a unlocked phone. And the best money exchange rates, you will get it in Saudi, not in the US. So please don't carry any Saudi reals. If you exchange them in the US, they usually give you a very low rate. So it's better to actually exchange in Saudi. The usual going rate is between 3.71 going up to 3.73. It doesn't make a huge difference. On every $100, you may lose 1 real, 2 real. Don't worry too much about that unless you're actually trying to exchange large amounts. Then it makes a big difference. But if you're just exchanging a couple of $100 for the trip, it's not going to make that big of a difference. But it does make a difference whether you exchange it in the US or in Saudi. So in the US, you will get a rate anywhere around, for every $100, you may get around like 315 to 350 Saudi real. So that it will make a huge difference when you exchange it in Saudi. Please carry new $100 bills without any marks or any rips on it, because they do bother you a lot. And of course, as I mentioned, exchange it in Saudi for the best possible rate. So just to go over the Saudi airline baggage policy. so everyone is prepared. You are allowed 2 piece for a check-in, so each luggage can be up to 50 pounds or 23 kilograms. For your hand carry, you are allowed up to 15 pounds or 7 kg, and you are allowed a personal item as well too. When traveling towards Saudi, especially if you're trying to do heavy shopping, I do recommend to go light rather than heavy. It is a short trip, it's a 6 night trip. Carry enough clothes for the whole trip and all those things, but keep in mind you are allowed 2 luggages for check-in and one hand carry and up to one personal item. For the return flight, the Zamzam does get checked in separately. It's separate from your luggage allowance, so you are allowed your 2 luggages for the check-in, the hand carry, the personal item, plus the Zamzam as well too. And they only allow the Zamzam at the airport to be checked in, which inshallah me and my team will be arranging for you. Don't worry about that. Do not buy the Zamzam locally. They're not packaged properly. There's a high chance that the Zamzam may break, or the water may leak. So at the airport, everything is sealed, packed. So even if your Zamzam is leaking, it's within that plastic bag and it's not damaging other luggages in the aircraft. So it's very important that you understand this, that the Zamzam will be available at the airport for you, inshallah. Me and my team will be providing that for you. There's nothing to worry about that, but it is separate, because I get this question as a very common question, whether Zamzam is a part of our 2 pieces of luggages. It is not. It is separate from it. So you get your 2 piece check-in luggage up to 50 pounds each, and then the Zamzam separately, one per person. These days, back in the days, if you would request them, they would let you check in additional Zamzam if you don't have any. If you, let's say you only have one luggage, they would usually let you replace one luggage with a Zamzam as well too. But these days they do not do that. We have tried a couple of times, since the pandemic, since after the pandemic. So please just consider that you don't need to take additional Zamzam. They are only allowing one per person. These are some direct recommendations from our team and some of the experience that we have been seeing. Please make sure you have a refillable water bottle, and utilize the Zamzam that you will get within both Masjid Nawawi and the Masjid Haram. So this way, both Haramain, you're able to go and take advantage of the Zamzam while you're there. Even when I'm there, I like to go each time I'm going for the prayers. I like to fill it up with Zamzam, and that's what I like to drink while I'm in Saudi. We get normal water in New York. We get enough of that. So please try to utilize that. Try to take advantage of the Zamzam as much as possible. So what you bring back, you can distribute it amongst your friends and family and let them take advantage of the Zamzam as well. Also, please pack enough clothes for the entire duration of the trip. Laundry and dry cleaning services are very, very, very expensive in Saudi. Sometimes it's cheaper to just buy new clothes than to actually do laundry over there. So it's highly recommended to carry enough clothes for the entire trip, and also keep some cash for daily usage as well too. So some of the expected expenses, and it's not necessarily is going to be the same for everyone. It may go up and down. We like to take, like the upper range for a lot of these things. So your daily expected daily expenses that we're expecting, to actually incur during the entire journey. For your lunch and dinner, breakfast is included with the tour in the hotels, both in Mecca and Medina. So lunch and dinner, usually everyone is skipping lunch. While in Saudi, they usually just go for a heavy dinner. It will range you anywhere from $10 to $20 per meal. If you're planning to go Masjid Quba on a daily basis, you're looking at about $15 to $30 round trip. If you're planning to do any additional umrahs, you're looking at taking a taxi to Masjid Aisha, approximately the same thing, $15 to $30 for a round trip. And this is not per person, by the way, these round trips. So it may be, you're going in a group, we're quite a few people. So, maybe you make a couple of friends, go with them, share the expense. Don't try to bear the entire expense. Going to Quba, even if it's like 7 8 people, you can always stop a larger car like a van or something, and you can go together as well too. We are covering these locations, especially visit Quba during the historical tour. But if you plan to go on additional trips, go with a few people. Inshallah, it does. The expense comes out barely nothing if a few people are going together. There are some one-time expenses that are expected, which is for your ihram is gonna cost you in Medina about $15 to $30. Most people they use the ihram once and they throw it out. But if you're planning to reuse the ihram, or if you come regularly for Umrah, even on a yearly base, take it back home, wash it, reuse it. Dates, depending on what quality of dates you're looking for, they can range any from $7 to even $50+ per kg. So that if that is something that you're considering getting, good quality ajwa will run you in that upper range, maybe around like 50 55 Saudi riyals. They start on the decent quality ajwas, so consider those as well too as an expense. For the gifts, I don't put a range in because depending on whatever your budget is, you can get the gifts. If you're going in the range for golds, you're talking about even in the thousands in some cases. So whatever you're planning to get for your family and friends, you can consider that as a budget for your gifts. So, inshallah, I do want to open this session up for the Q&A. And before I do that, just a quick reminder, my team will be sending out, if you have not received the visas and your tickets, my team will be sending that out over the weekend, inshallah. They will also be sending you information in regards to Nuzuk details. So, inshallah, if you need any further assistance, they will also be working with you directly one-on-one, inshallah. So don't just stay relaxed on that side, inshallah. Over the weekend, everything is going to be cleared. We still have some time till next Friday, inshallah, before you need to actually start using the Nuzuk app to actually start getting your Roda permits. So inshallah, I do, without any further ado, I do want to open this up for the Q&A. I'm going to check any messages that came in. Not yet. All right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hands, and inshallah, we'll go one by one with everyone for the questions. Assalamu alaikum. Zoya Ahmad, go ahead.
Walaikum salam. My question is, in the beginning, you mentioned we have to check in at 7 a.m. on the 18th at JFK.
That is correct. So we do want everyone to show up early. It just makes it much easier. And because of the traffic at JFK and the complications these days, most people that are aiming to come around like 3 hours before the flight, they usually end up coming an hour and a half before the flight. So our team will be there to meet and greet, inshallah, between 7 and 8 a.m. It's very important that everyone arrives early, at least aim to arrive early. With the issues at JFK right now and the complications, some people even have missed their flights in December.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I see some questions in the Q&A section as well. Do we need Nuzuk account for Umrah also registered for Hajj? So will it be the same? How? So Nuzuk Hajj is something completely different compared to Nuzuk account that we needed. It's application. So it's for Umrah, and that same application, by the way, during Hajj, like on my application, it shows up, my Hajj ID shows up on it from last year, from this year's, from last year's Hajj. So that account will come in handy for Hajj too if you go for Hajj, inshallah. But for now, that same account, you will use it for Umrah as well too. The permits for Umrah are, like they're not as required, but most of the people they are using the application for Riyazul Jannah, for the Noble Roda permits for Medina. All right. Can we take train instead of bus? from Medina to Mecca, you are more than welcome to take the train. Just inform our team, because we want to make sure you're leaving at an appropriate time and whenever you're arriving, so our team can receive you in Mecca as well. So if you decide to go by train, it's completely up to you. We will see you at the hotel. We'll give you all the information for the hotel, so it's easier for you to arrive there. Can we leave luggage with the bus? You can. So the whole reason why we ask you to put the luggages outside, everything goes on the bus. But please inform one of our team members that you are going by train. So this way, we're not waiting holding the bus for anyone that is planning to take the train, inshallah. You can reach out to our team. It's a dynamic system. I don't have the exact prices. Sometimes you get them very cheap. Sometimes they're very expensive, depending on what's available. Just reach out to our team, inshallah. They will advise you and let you know how much the train tickets are. All right. Uh, I see one hand up. Nasir Sally, if you want to unmute yourself, ask your question.
Yes, I want to know if we need to download those apps that you're talking about before we get on the trip.
We will be providing you with all that information, inshallah, when we send over the ticket and the visas. We do send out a link to you for where to download it, what is the app called. But it is a need, especially for Medina, for Riyaz al Jannah. You will need the application.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the difference in timings between the bus and the train, number one, there's a major difference between the bus and the train. If anyone is here for going on their first Umrah trip, I do highly recommend to actually go with the bus. But if you decide to go by train, it's completely up to you. You approximately save about, in some cases, sometimes it's about like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but you miss out on miqat. So we do stop at miqat to make our intention, pray 2 rakats, and then we move ahead. With the train, you will make the intention on the train. It's like when you take the flight, they usually make an announcement for miqat, and everyone is making their intention. So the train is the same system. So we are stopping at miqat and we go make our intention. This is one of the major differences that comes between the train and the bus, and it is one of those things that add some time. Because even for the train, you do need to arrive early. And the travel time is approximately, with the train and the taxis you will take to the station, waiting period and everything, you're still looking at about 4 hours plus with the train. And with the conditions in Makkah these days, they do have some of the routes closed. It may take even longer. With the bus, it's going to take us about 6 to 6.5 hours approximately. If the group is efficient, it can take even less, but this is like the approximate hours it usually takes. All right. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. If not, we can also end the meeting as well too, inshallah. Me and Mufti Kharibur Rahman. And we also have Sheikh Soban on the trip with us as well too, inshallah. All three of us will be there to assist you during your journey. And I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. This is just the first part. We're just trying to get you prepared on the logistical side. And inshallah, for the spiritual side, we will be with you as well too, and assisting you during the entire journey. And we're looking to take care of everyone for this upcoming tour from 18th to 26th of January. And inshallah, we are looking forward to seeing you soon. Jazakallah khair, everyone, for joining, and inshallah, see you in Medina. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.